Have you ever had one of those days where everything seems normal? Your morning routine doesn't change, your meals are the same, your mood feels steady, and yet, when you check your blood pressure, it's through the roof? And you think to yourself, what did I do wrong today? But no matter how hard you try to retrace your steps, it just doesn't make sense. Maybe it happened to you, or maybe to your spouse, your mother, your father. You look at them and think they haven't done anything different. But still, the numbers creep up, quietly, gradually, then all at once. One small stroke, a hospital stay, a whispered warning from the doctor. It could have been worse. That's the thing about blood pressure. It doesn't always scream. It whispers. And most of us only hear it after something has already gone wrong. I'm here today not just as a doctor, but as someone who's seen this far too many times. Seniors, especially, are vulnerable. Not because they're doing anything wrong, but because some of the most dangerous habits don't look dangerous at all. They look normal, harmless, ordinary, until they're not. And here's the hard truth. Some of these habits are part of your daily life. They've crept in so slowly that you don't even notice them anymore. A salty snack here, a missed pill there, a restless night, a little extra coffee because you didn't sleep. Nothing huge, right? But these little things, they stack up. And for an aging body, they can trigger blood pressure spikes that are anything but little. This matters because we're not just talking about numbers on a screen. We're talking about your brain, your heart, your kidneys, your independence. We're talking about your life. And if you're a caregiver, we're talking about their life. The people you love, the people who raised you, held your hand when you were small, and now need you to understand what they can't always say. But here's the good news. Knowledge is power. And once you know what these hidden habits are, once you see them, you can take action. Simple, powerful, loving action. By the end of this video, you'll know 6 everyday habits that silently spike blood pressure in seniors. And just as importantly, you'll know what to do about them. No jargon, no lectures, just honest, practical help from someone who cares deeply about your health and the health of the people you love. So before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Comment, I'm here if you're ready to take control of your heart health, or if you're watching this for someone you love. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Care, because this is just one of the many ways we're helping families stay strong, stay informed, and stay connected. Let's begin. Let's talk about something that almost everyone underestimates: salt. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. I don't even use the salt shaker anymore. Maybe your doctor told you to cut back years ago, and you did. Maybe you haven't sprinkled table salt on your food in a decade. But here's the thing, that's not where the real danger is. I remember a patient, Mrs. Green, lovely woman, proud of her clean eating. She stopped adding salt to her food at 72. No cheaps, no fast food. She cooked at home. She drank plenty of water. And yet, her blood pressure kept creeping higher and higher. Confused her, frustrated her. She said, "Doc, I don't understand. I haven't touched salt in years." But when we looked closer at what was really on her plate, we found the truth. Canned soups, frozen meals, store-bought sauces, crackers, even her so-called healthy turkey slices. All of them were loaded with sodium. Not the kind you shake on top, but the kind you never see. See, as we age, our kidneys don't filter as well as they used to. That means sodium hangs around longer in the body, pulling in water, bloating our tissues, and tightening the walls of our blood vessels. That tightness, that pressure, that's what pushes your numbers up. Sometimes quietly, sometimes violently. And here's where most people go wrong. They assume, if I don't taste it, it's not a problem. But some of the worst offenders don't taste salty at all. Bread, breakfast cereal, that low-fat cottage cheese you think is healthy, it could have more sodium than a bag of chips. The solution isn't complicated, but it does require awareness. It means reading the labels every single time. It means choosing the low sodium or no added salt versions, even when they cost a few cents more. And it means learning to love flavor that doesn't come from salt, garlic, rosemary, lemon, black pepper, paprika. The kind of flavor that supports your heart instead of stressing it. Because here's the bottom line, the salt shaker may be gone, but the salt hasn't left your plate. And if salt's a sneaky villain, wait until you hear about the next one. It hides in plain sight. It keeps you up at night. And for millions of seniors, it's slowly stealing peace and spiking pressure without them ever knowing why. Now let's talk about something we don't often connect with blood pressure, but we should. Sleep. Frank was 78 when he first mentioned it during a routine checkup. He said, "Doc, I wake up at 3 a.m. almost every night. I just lie there. Sometimes I drift off again, sometimes I don't. I figured it's just age, right?" And for a while I agreed. Because yes, aging does shift our sleep patterns. But then Frank started having dizzy spells, a heavy feeling in his chest. His blood pressure readings, especially in the early mornings, were dangerously high. And that's when it hit us. His broken sleep wasn't harmless. It was part of the problem. See, sleep isn't just rest. For your heart, it's recovery. During deep, uninterrupted sleep, your blood pressure naturally dips. Your body gets a break. Your vessels relax. Your heart rate slows. But when your sleep is shallow, fragmented, or too short, your body stays in a kind of alert mode. Cortisol, the stress hormone, stays elevated. And that hormone keeps your blood vessels tight and your pressure high, even while you sleep. It's like trying to let your car cool down while the engine's still running. But here's the real issue. So many seniors accept poor sleep as normal. They chalk it up to aging, to aches, to the mind that just won't shut off. And yes, aging changes how we sleep, but it doesn't mean we should give up on good sleep altogether. In fact, good sleep hygiene is one of the simplest and most powerful things you can do for your blood pressure. That means going to bed at the same time every night, even on weekends. It means avoiding screens before bed, TVs, phones, tablets, all of it. The blue light tricks your brain into staying awake longer than it should. It means creating a calming bedtime routine, dim lights, soft music, maybe even a warm bath. And naps? A short nap in the early afternoon is fine. But sleeping for too long during the day can steal your sleep at night. It's like borrowing rest from the wrong account, and your heart pays the price. Sleep is sacred, especially in our later years. It's when the body heals, rebalances, recovers. And without it, even the strongest heart can start to strain. So if you or someone you love has been brushing off bad sleep, don't. Because sometimes the scariest numbers on that blood pressure monitor start not with a salty meal, but with a restless night. But what if the real issue is hiding in your cup, or quietly riding the coattails of your daily routine? Something you reach for without thinking, because it feels comforting, familiar, even energizing? Let's talk about that next. Let's talk about something most of us treasure, maybe even depend on. Coffee. Joan, 74, used to look forward to her afternoon coffee chats more than anything. Every day at 2, she'd sit with her neighbor on the porch. They'd talk about old memories, grandchildren, recipes, the news. And always a cup of coffee in her hand. It made her feel awake, included, alive. But here's what she didn't realize. After each cup, her heart would beat a little faster. Her face would flush slightly. And later that evening, she'd feel a little jittery, a little more restless. When we checked her blood pressure, it was spiking. Not dramatically, not all at once, but enough to raise red flags. You see, caffeine narrows your blood vessels. It puts your nervous system on high alert. Your heart starts working harder, even when you're sitting still. And for younger bodies, that rush fades quickly. But as we age, something changes. Our bodies hold onto caffeine longer. We break it down slower. What used to feel like a gentle boost now becomes a pressure trigger. And here's the biggest myth of all. Caffeine only affects anxious people. That's simply not true. You don't have to feel nervous to feel its impact. Caffeine doesn't just affect the mind. It affects the heart, the vessels, the flow. Even if you're calm on the outside, your body might be working overtime on the inside. This doesn't mean you need to give up coffee entirely. For many seniors, 1 cup in the morning is perfectly fine, enjoyed slowly, mindfully. But afternoon, that's when things start to shift. The later in the day you drink it, the more likely it'll disrupt your sleep. And we already know what broken sleep does to your blood pressure. So what can you do instead? Try a comforting herbal tea. Chamomile, peppermint, rooibos. There are beautiful, caffeine-free options that warm the hands and soothe the heart. If you're attached to the ritual of holding a warm mug, keep that ritual. Just change what's inside it. Because sometimes it's not the habit itself, but the timing, the amount, and the way it lingers in your body that makes all the difference. And caffeine, well, it's not the only sneak on the list. The next one might surprise you. It's not found in a food or drink. It's found in routine, in prescriptions, in a simple decision made on a tired day. And while it starts with good intentions, it can quietly do more harm than good. Let's take a look at that next. Let's talk about something personal, something that happens behind closed doors, quietly, privately, often with good intentions. Medication. Tom was 80. He'd been managing high blood pressure for over a decade. He had a shelf full of pill bottles, each one carefully prescribed, each one with its own story. But one day he admitted something. "I don't take them every day anymore," he said. "Some of them make me feel off. I get lightheaded or just not myself. So I skip a few. Not all of them. Just here and there." Now, I understand that. No one wants to feel foggy or tired or like they're living in slow motion. But what Tom didn't know, what so many seniors don't realize, is that skipping just one dose can set off a chain reaction in your body. Some blood pressure medications need to be in your system consistently. Not most days. Not when you remember. Every single day, they build up to a steady level that keeps your pressure in check. So when you miss a dose, even one, your blood pressure can rebound. Not gradually, not predictably, but suddenly. And that sudden spike, that's where the danger lives. There's another trap people fall into. Why hear all the time? "But I feel fine." And yes, you do feel fine, because the medication is working. It's like saying you don't need glasses because everything looks clear while you're wearing the glasses. That's not health. That's maintenance. And when you stop the maintenance, problems return. So what's the answer? It's not shame. It's not guilt. It's support. Set up a pill organizer. Those little boxes marked with days of the week. Use a reminder app on your phone, or ask a family member to check in. Not because you're forgetful, but because medication isn't just a task, it's a lifeline. And if something doesn't feel right, if the meds do make you dizzy, tired, or off, talk to your doctor. Don't quit silently. Don't adjust doses on your own. Let's figure out together. There may be another option that works better for your body. Because skipping medication doesn't mean taking control. It means losing control. But sometimes the problem isn't what you forget. It's what you believe. Beliefs about what it means to be strong, to endure, to keep quiet when your heart is heavy. That belief, that silence, that's our next habit. And it may be the most invisible and the most dangerous one of all. There's something we don't talk about enough. Not at the dinner table, not at the doctor's office. Sometimes, not even with the people closest to us. I'm talking about what we carry on the inside. Marlene was 76 when her husband passed. They'd been married for over 50 years. She was quiet at the funeral, composed, supportive of everyone else. In the weeks that followed, she still hosted family dinners, still sent birthday cards, still smiled in every photo. But something changed. Her blood pressure, which had always been steady, started rising. First a little, then more. Her doctor adjusted her meds. Nothing helped. And that's when she finally said it, softly, like a secret. "I'm just so alone. I try not to think about it. I keep myself busy. But at night, I sit in silence." You see, grief and loneliness don't always come with tears. Sometimes they wear a mask. But your body knows. The heart knows. Chronic emotional stress floods the system with hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, keeping your blood vessels tense, your heart rate up, your pressure elevated. It's like being in a constant state of alert, even when you're sitting quietly at home. And here's the part that breaks my heart. So many seniors feel this way, but they don't want to burden anyone. So they say, "I'm not depressed, just tired." Or "I'm fine, just a little off today." But it's not just a little off. This kind of emotional strain wears down the body, slowly, steadily, and silently. It's as real as any physical condition, and just as serious. So what can you do? Start small. Reach out, not with a dramatic confession, but with a simple connection. A phone call to a friend, joining a local group, even just once a week. A walk with a neighbor, a shared meal, a book club, a church gathering, even watching a show together, side by side, in quiet companionship. And if the weight feels too heavy, talk to someone, a counselor, a therapist, a spiritual guide, someone who listens without judging. because bottled up feelings don't just sit there. They leak into the bloodstream. They tighten the chest. They raise the pressure. Literally. You are not a burden. Your feelings are not a weakness. They're part of being alive, part of being human, and tending to them is part of caring for your heart. And finally, there's one last habit, one we all underestimate, one that doesn't feel harmful at all because it looks so harmless. It's not what we eat or drink or feel. It's what we don't do. A habit of stillness, of staying in one place, day after day. It's time we looked at that one next. George used to joke, "I'm not lazy, I'm just resting." He'd say it with a chuckle as he sat in his favorite armchair, remote in hand, slippers tucked under the coffee table. And sure, he'd earned his rest. He worked hard his whole life, raised a family, made it through tough decades. If anyone deserved to take it easy, it was George. But here's what his family started noticing. His legs looked a little more swollen. He got winded walking to the mailbox. He stopped getting up to answer the door. And when we checked his blood pressure, it was high, consistently high. What George didn't realize was that his rest was slowly working against him. Because the body, especially as it ages, is designed for movement. Not marathons, not gym workouts, just movement. And when that movement disappears, even in small ways, everything slows. Blood pools in the legs. Vessels get stiff. The heart has to work harder to circulate even a small amount. That extra effort, it pushes your pressure higher. And here's the trap. So many seniors believe they're too old to exercise. But movement doesn't mean workouts or weights. It means standing up and stretching. Walking to the kitchen instead of calling someone to bring you something. 5 minutes around the block. Marching your feet in place while watching TV. Reaching to the sky. Rolling your shoulders. Lifting your knees just a few inches. Every little motion pumps the blood, opens the lungs, wakes up the muscles, and reminds your heart how to stay healthy. It's not about age. It's about rhythm, circulation, consistency. Even a few minutes a day can lower blood pressure, reduce stiffness, and improve sleep. So if you're listening to this and thinking, "I've been sitting too much," you're not alone. You haven't failed. But today, right now, is a chance to begin again. One gentle movement at a time. And let's pause here, just for a moment, because knowing these habits is one thing, but facing them, seeing them in your own life, in someone you love, that's something deeper, something heavier, and something we're going to talk about right now. Watching someone you love slow down, seeing them sit a little longer each day, noticing their appetite fade, their laughter quiet, their steps become smaller. It's not just hard, it's heartbreaking. And sometimes it's confusing too, because the changes don't happen all at once. They come in little pieces, subtle, scattered, and you find yourself asking, was that just a bad day? Or is something wrong? You start noticing how they grip the armrest a little tighter when they stand, how they pause a second longer before answering, how the blood pressure monitor starts to tell a different story than it used to. And it's in those moments that the doubt creeps in. Am I overreacting? What if I bring it up and upset them? Maybe this is just part of getting older, but the truth is these habits, these subtle shifts, they aren't the end. They're the beginning. Not of decline, but of awareness, of action, of care. Because these habits, too much salt, poor sleep, caffeine, skipped meds, unspoken stress, too little movement, they're not signs that it's too late. They're clues, gentle signals that the body is whispering, "Help me." And now that you've heard them, you can start listening differently. Looking more closely, responding not with fear, but with understanding. If you've seen even one of these habits in someone you love, don't wait for the perfect moment. Start the conversation, gently, kindly, not as a lecture, but as a partner. Sit beside them, not across. Ask, "How have you been feeling lately?" Or, "I watched this video and it made me think of you." Sometimes that's all it takes to open a door. Because the most powerful tools in elder care aren't high-tech or found in a hospital. They're time, presence, consistency, and love. You don't have to fix everything today. You don't have to become a doctor. You just have to be there. To care enough to notice. To ask questions. To offer a warm meal with less salt. A walk around the block. A shared laugh before bedtime instead of a TV show. Your awareness. Your patience. Your love. That's more powerful than any prescription. And the beauty is, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It starts with small steps, taken together, side by side. And with each one, you're not just helping lower a number on a screen. You're helping extend a life, deepen a bond, and create moments of peace in a world that often rushes right past them. You're doing more than watching. You're caring. And that's everything. So let's take a breath together and gently look back at where we've been. We started with something that doesn't always look dangerous, salt. The kind that hides in processed food, raising blood pressure without a single shake from the salt shaker. Then we moved into the quiet world of sleep, and how restless nights and irregular patterns can wear down the heart just as much as stress can. We talked about caffeine, that comforting ritual that's harder to process with age, and how even a small cup at the wrong time can nudge your numbers higher than you realize. Then there were the missed medications, the doses skipped when we feel fine or when the side effects feel frustrating, but the risk of stopping is far greater than it seems. We turn toward the unspoken weight of stress and loneliness, how grief and isolation tighten the body's vessels and linger where words never quite reach. And finally, stillness. Not rest, but the kind of long, quiet inactivity that steals our strength slowly day by day, when we stop moving just because we think we can't. 6 habits. 6 very human, very common, very real patterns that, over time, can chip away at the strength of a heart. But now you see them. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. That's not a burden. It's a gift. Because now you can step in with kindness, with action, with love. And I want to hear from you. Which of these surprised you the most? Or better yet, which one do you see in someone you love? Let's talk in the comments. You're not alone in this journey. If you found this video helpful, if it made you pause, reflect, maybe even pick up the phone, subscribe to Elderly Care. This is what we do here. We walk beside you. We shine a light on the small things that matter. And we help you show up, not just with knowledge, but with heart. So thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. Thank you for taking this time for yourself and for those you love. Stay strong, stay loving, and I'll see you in the next video.